We have already talked about the iNotify property changed interface. Let's now talk about the iCommand interface and how it's going to help us replace event handlers. The iCommand interface is going to allow us to move some of the code that we have behind the view to the view model, more specifically, the event handlers. Currently, we have event handlers on the code behind logic for the views. Implementing commands is going to help us clean the view. And because that functionality is now going to be abstracted outside of the view, we will be able to reuse this code between views or between pages. Because currently, one functionality that is defined in the code behind for a view can only be used inside of that page. If we abstract that into a view model that we can use from different pages, we could do that if we wanted to. And the command already exists as properties for buttons and toolbar items, which are the objects that we're currently using with event handlers. So it becomes a perfect replacement for them. The way that this works is that we're going to be defining a view model that implements the iCommand interface. By implementing this interface, we're going to have an execute member. And it's inside of the execute member where we can define the functionality that is currently inside of an event handler. We have an optional can execute evaluation that is going to define if the execute method should be called or not. This is useful, for example, in a register page. If there is no email and password, there is no use in executing anything because we're simply going to tell the user that they are still lacking some information. So maybe the execution doesn't even have to happen. So we have that optional evaluation as well through the iCommand interface. And finally, once we have implemented the iCommand interface and added the functionality to the execute and the can execute methods, we're going to be assigning the command, very similarly to how we assigned an event handler. So here's an example. We have a view with two elements, in this case for the login, and the login has a command assigned to it. And the command is also going to receive information about what is inside of those two entries. We can imagine that one is for the user and the other for the password. And because currently neither of the entries have any values, the can execute is going to be set to false. So the execute function is not going to be available. But as soon as there is some value on both entries, the can execute, based on its logic, is going to be set to true, so the execute method is back online. So this is just a brief introduction to the iCommand interface and how it is going to help us replace event handlers. In the next lecture, we're going to be implementing the interface into a new class.